What's up, everybody? So I know I skipped a couple episodes of Teen Mom, but honestly, you guys, you weren't missing anything. And this week, Kale finally comes back. I'm not saying she made the show. I'm just saying, let's see if it's hitting on something. So this is season 11, episode 5, and it starts out with Leah talking about Jalen and how she invited him on a trip to Costa Rica. And on this trip, he decided to make it official, like they're officially boyfriend and girlfriend on this trip. And she's giddy and excited, like I haven't seen Leah this happy in a while. She talks about how Jalen is just checking off all the boxes on her list and how he had this candlelight dinner set up for her in Costa Rica. She's talking with her friend now. She actually gets home from Costa Rica and Jalen had sent the girl flowers and it was a very nice gesture. And, they are moving pretty fast because she says that he's going to visit her in West Virginia again, even though he just flew home to Georgia. He's going to be in West Virginia again later that week to visit her and finally meet the kids because he loves her kids already. Leah is the type of girl that will invite a dude to Costa Rica after 1 or 2 months of knowing him and maybe a couple phone sex sessions. So she's moving pretty fast. So let's see how this ends up. So checking in with Brianna de Jesus and the clan. Her and her sister Brittany get home from filming Teen Mom Family Reunion, which we've already seen. They were gone 2 weeks and the kids greet them at the door. The girls are so happy to see them. Really, they're happy to see Brittany, but we already know. So they get home. That's that. They said they had a good time. And then it switches over to Devon and his girlfriend, Jazz. This is the first time that we've seen Devon and his girlfriend have a scene together, even though he's been with Jazz for maybe like 9 or 10 years. It's been a long, long time relationship. I remember following them on Twitter way back in Teen Mom 3 days. So it's been a long time. So finally she gets some airtime. So he's telling her how the trip was good. Him and Bree actually got along for once because, they never get along. Then it flashes back to all the reunion scenes of him and Bree arguing about how Bree says he ain't a real man and he don't do shit for Nova. So he says that moving forward, he hopes that he can have a healthy co-parenting situation with Brianna because she showed him a different side on this trip. And the girlfriend is that like, yeah, y'all never really had that. Y'all really didn't know each other when she got pregnant. So, this is a good thing. Hopefully everybody can sit down and, y'all can have a kumbaya. And he says that he's going to plan like a dinner for him, Brianna, and Nova to iron out some issues so they never have another issue. Now, if I know Brianna, she's going to switch like a light bulb and they're going to have another issue, but hopefully not. She's professed her love for Devon, not in that way, but like she loves everything that he does for her girls, both of them, because Stella loves him as well. So hopefully they can keep, this even, cool path going. We'll see. So then we check in with Kale, who allegedly hasn't been filming for months, but it looks like she has on that same shirt that she talked to her producer outside with last time. I don't know, but for some reason she's not letting the cameras in her house, so they talk again on her front porch. And the producer is asking her all these rundown interview questions the same way he did on the first episode. So he's basically like, okay, what's up with Chris? She's like, I'm not filming because, y'all was filming with Chris and, I don't care. It's just that y'all didn't give me no heads up. She then talks about how her and Joe don't talk at all and it's been kind of hard on her and Vee's relationship, but somehow they make it work. She then says that Javi is up and down and she never knows who she's going to get from one day to the next. But she's been doing her work in therapy and she doesn't think that the show or her baby daddies align with her growth. So pretty much everybody is wrong except Kale. Everybody's wrong. The cameras, the baby daddies, every single baby daddy. And V's kind of wrong a little bit. And her podcast is wrong a little bit. Everybody's wrong except Kale because Kale sees her growth and that's all that matters. And hey, if you're that obsessed with yourself, it is what it is. So checking in with Bar and Ashley, the newlyweds. Ashley's mom, T, is having like this professional cake decorating class and Bar comes to support. And the whole family is there. And then Ashley and her sister go into the back to talk about Bar and blah, blah, blah. So basically, Ashley just says, it's hard being married. And her sister was like, well, I don't like to see you cry the way you stormed out of dinner last week. So I'm guessing on last week's episode, Ashley stormed out because she doesn't know what she's going to do about her marriage. So Ashley then says, that she just thinks that her and Bar need therapy. They need counseling because Holly is absolutely obsessed with her dad. And Ashley doesn't want to make any rash decisions like separating Bar from Holly. So they're going to try therapy. And let's see how this goes. So then we check in with Jade, who says even though her mom is not going to jail, she's still not going to allow her to see Chloe because the tension between her and her mom right now is just like at an all-time high. And I thought that was funny. She said, even though my mom ain't going to jail, she still ain't going to be around Chloe. I was just like, okay. So she's sitting down with this client and she says that it took 6 hours to do her hair. And I'm just like, girl, what? Because it didn't look like it. And it kind of looks like something I could have did at my house in my kitchen sink. But anyway, then it switches over to her and Chow. And she tells Chow, which is her friend, that she's been looking for houses. She actually found one. It's not too big. It's not too small. And she put a cash offer to buy this house to the man, and they're gonna close next week. These girls move really fast with literally everything in life. Like, I thought it usually takes maybe a couple months to close, but I guess if you got that cash, thank you MTV, you can put that money on the table and get that house. So she says, that this is going to be something that's going to be in her family for a long time. And she's going to give her daughter something that she never had, which was stability and a house that, nobody can take from you. They actually own. So at least she has her priorities straight when it comes to that, and that she's doing everything she can for her daughter. One thing I can say about Jade is she seems to be all about her daughter. She says that she hasn't told Sean about the house or really told Sean anything. She doesn't even know when Sean is coming home. And I honestly feel like, focus on yourself, queen. That's what you need to do. Just focus on you and your daughter and let Sean focus on himself. So checking back in with Leah, who's still gushing over Jalen. I'm just assuming that the whole season will be the same thing with her gushing over Jalen. She's on FaceTime and they're already exchanging the, I love yous. He lives 8 hours away in Georgia. So she says, that she can't come to him because she's so busy. So he usually always comes to her and he drives or flies, I don't know, 8 hours a week, every single week to come see her. Now that's a lot of gas. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of plane ticket. I don't know what it is, but that's a lot. So Jalen, every single week. I could see if you maybe twice a month. But hey, I guess they got to see each other. So she says that she thinks that it's finally time for the girls to meet Jalen because he's putting such a big smile on her face and she's so in love. So she's like, I hope you're ready for my girls. They're fiery, they're firecrackers, they're strong-minded women. Basically, sometimes they mouth run away from them. And Leah allows it, so it is what it is. And he's like, yeah, I'm ready. I don't know how Jalen's gonna put up with this, but we'll see, because the twins have been known to run many of boyfriends away because they want the boyfriends be wanting to discipline them because of that mouth. And Leah's like, no, they can say what they want to say. So this is going to be interesting. So checking back in with Brianna, Devon is dropping Nova back off at her house, I think from gymnastics practice. And I think that he does it now twice a week instead of once a week because Brianna is letting him have a little bit more leadway because Brianna likes to be in control of everything. She even said that. So now that they've done this breakthrough in therapy during the Teen Mom family reunion, she feels like he can have a little bit more responsibility. So he asked her, what is she doing for the weekend? She says nothing. And he says, I would like to take you and Nova out for dinner. I'm guessing just to talk. It was really cute. She was like, would you want your mommy and daddy to go out, all three of us? And of course, Nova's like, yeah, it was really cute. So her and Devon sit down and Nova starts doing her homework and Devon starts helping her. And then it switches over to her and her mom talking, Brianna and her mom. And Brianna's like, yeah, I have to let go of some of the control. We have two different parenting styles. I need to get over it. I need to stop being the boss of everything. And Roxanne is like, I've been told you that. Once you stop acting like, you have to be in control of everything and let stuff flow, the parenting can go better. And the co-parenting is, it's never going to be 100%, but you guys can be on a copacetic level. And I really love that because Roxanne has been saying that for years if we look back at previous seasons. So heading back over to Kel, she calls up Leah and Leah answers the phone. She's excited. She's happy. She's like, yeah, I just got back from Costa Rica. It was the most amazing time. And of course, Kel doesn't want to hear about that. So she's like, nice. Anyway, let me tell you what's going on with me. So then she starts giving the rundown about how her and Vee are going through it because her and Javi keep getting these arguments about her continuing to speak about Javi on her podcast. If you guys listen to the podcasts, any of them, she talks about Javi maybe 75% of the time. And I understand they were married and that was once a huge part of her life. But at some point it got to get frustrating for Javi. So she claims that they got in a big argument about that. And Javi was trying to tell her, you can't even trust Vee because Vee was being deceitful. And lets her know that years ago, him and Vee met up in the Target parking lot at night. So Vee could tell him that Kel was 3 months pregnant with Lux. Now, this was years ago, like 6. Now, Kel says that Javi was so adamant that Vee was fake that she put both of them in a group chat and was like, whatever happened, happened. Y'all better tell me now. And apparently V walked in the office and told her everything and said that, she felt bad for Javi at the time. And at the time, her and V weren't close at all. So even though it's a messy situation, if you guys look back at the season, V was very frustrated with her because V had given up her whole life and moved to Delaware. And it was a whole bunch of changes going on. Not saying she was right, but I'm just saying it's a whole bunch of changes going on. We moved out here because of your man and his job. And this is how you're doing, your man. And you leaving him and you getting pregnant by somebody that V thinks that she barely knows and stuff like that. So I can understand why V was frustrated. If you guys look at the episode, she was frustrated as hell. She was like, what is going through this girl's mind to get pregnant again? And the viewers and everybody at home was thinking the same thing. Like, Javi just came back from deployment. It looked messy as fuck on TV. But that made one of the best seasons for Teen Mom. Let me tell you that. That was one of the best seasons. So anyway, Kayla's upset. Probably rightfully so. She's saying that she doesn't know what she's going to do with the podcast or if her and V can even move forward for this. My whole thing is, what married woman is sneaking around in the Target parking lot to meet up with another man to tell him anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does Joe have to say about this, for one? For two, why did it have to be at night? Like, what type of undercover shit is this that I couldn't text you that? Or FaceTime you or call you or something, because I got a whole husband here. I'm not finna meet you in no parking lot. Whatever. Is messy as fuck. She also says that V told Javi that the child that Kel allegedly miscarried might not have even been his. Now, how did V possibly know that? How would V possibly know that? Maybe Javi added that on for some little spice. I don't know. Because Javi has doubts that was his kid. Maybe because he was stepping out. They were both stepping out. Or he's very intimidated by Mr. Chris Lopez. I have no idea what the circumstances was. But this was pretty much the juiciest moment on Teen Mom this episode. Like, come on, V. Moving over to Bar and Ashley, they're walking in the park, talking about their relationship and how they plan to go to therapy and hopefully it gets better. Basically, that was it for this scene. Ashley and Bar say that they really love each other and they want to make it work and they don't want to lose their relationship. And Ashley says, I love him. I just want it to work. But I understand that this is not a walk in the park, even though they're walking in the park. And that, we have our issues and it's a lot to unpack and it's a lot of trust issues and it's a lot of years. And if we're willing to do the work, then I'm willing to stick it out. So hopefully everything goes great for these two. As we see now, they're lovey-dovey on social media. So I'm pretty sure everything worked out. So sliding back over to Jade, she's on a FaceTime call with Sean. This is the first time that we've seen that she's talked to him since he's been in rehab. And she's like, yeah, I talked to your counselor. He said you're doing really well. And Sean is like, yeah, I'm opening up in circle time. And, these people have been where I am before, so I can really relate and share my story. And Jay's like, yeah, you have a big platform. You need to use it. You need to advocate for people. So it's nice to see that Sean is doing very well in rehab. No sign yet of when he's coming back. But then she goes over to hand the phone to Chloe, who's upset about something. I think she scraped her finger, I think that Jade said. So she doesn't really want to talk and she's crying and she's like, I want daddy. Now that daddy's on the phone, and he's like, listen, I'll bring you a surprise when I come home if you just be good for mommy, and I'll be out of here soon and I'll see you soon. And this is another very cute scene, and it shows a vulnerable side of Jade that she actually really does need Sean. She needs somebody there to help her with Chloe, and Chloe definitely needs her dad. So this story is going to unravel and we're going to see it hopefully in real time. So moving over to Leah. So she's picking the girls up from school and they are about to meet Jalen. Now, while they're in the car, she says, that she wants them to meet Jalen, but if they don't want to meet him, that's perfectly fine. So the girls are just like, okay, whatever. They get to the house. Jalen is nervous. She told him that Jalen was nervous. And they sit down and talk. He's like, yeah, it's nice to meet you guys. And then he's talking to the twins. And he's like, you know what? I have a twin sister too. So I know what it's like to be a twin. And Leah is trying to smooth everything over. Like, do you guys like each other? Do you guys like each other? Do you guys like each other? And instead of it being extremely awkward, I actually thought that this scene was cute too. I don't know if I'm just being a sap this morning or what. But I thought that this scene was really cute as well. So Leah asked them, do they want to see more of Jalen? And they say, yeah. They really didn't have much of a conversation, but I feel like this is not his first time meeting the girls. I just feel like it's not. And of course, the little one is just like, so are you going to take me to the mall? You going to take me to get my nails done? What you going to do? If you're going to be dating my mama, you going to take me around town too. And I actually thought that was cute. Like, me thinking that Addie in her mouth is cute is wild. But I did think it was cute, and they hugged at the end, and I was just like, oh, he actually likes them, and I think they like him. So switching back over to Kale, MTV captures some good footage of Lincoln practicing football, and Kale is there with Javi, and they briefly talk about the V situation, and she's like, I just wish you would have told me about this conversation years ago that you had with V. And he was like, yeah, me and you were not in a good place. I was not going to tell you because V seemed like somebody that was closer to you at the moment. And, I just didn't know how to go about it. But I did believe her because of how close you guys were. Now, I didn't think that her and V were close 6 years ago, but whatever Javi is saying. So she's like, I'm going to meet up with V and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. So, of course, her and V have already squashed this out prior to filming, so we're just going to act like they haven't. She meets up with V at this pizza joint to talk about it, and she's just basically like, V took ownership of the entire thing. She's like, yeah, I'm a bad person. I just wanted to hurt somebody. I was so miserable because I was going through postpartum, and I was down here by myself, and I was just so angry, and I was so mad, and I wanted to hurt somebody. And Kale's like, yeah, I get it. We can still be friends, but I don't think that we should work together anymore, and maybe we won't have the podcast Baby Mama's No Drama no more, because now it's Baby Mama's all drama. And V's like, yeah, I'm sad about it, but our personal relationship comes first. So they both agree that their personal comes first, and I agree it does. But Kale is sitting here acting like she's going to cancel the whole podcast when that whole shenanigan lasted about 2 or 3 days, and then they realized that there was money to be made. So they decided that they were not going to cancel the podcast. So I feel like all of this was kind of scripted for MTV. So heading back over to Brianna, her and Nova arrived for this dinner they're supposed to have with Devon. And I really appreciate this scene because it's at the Melting Pot, and I've been wondering about this restaurant, and now I don't really think I want to go. I'm just saying, like, what's the point? But anyway, they have a great dinner. He's talking about looking for apartments and how he's looking for a 3-bedroom. So, of course, Nova can have her own space. She's like, who's the 3rd bedroom for? And he's like, that's going to be your game room. You can do your TikToks. You can be alone because Nova is getting at the age where she needs her own stuff. And they really have a great dinner. They have a couple of laughs. There's no drama. And I really love to see this side of them. They actually looked at really cute as a family. The waitress asked them, what's the special occasion? They're like, just like, it's the weekend and we're a family and we're having family time. And I was just like, oh, shit. I don't know why I think everything is cute, but I really am seeing a little bit of growth in all these girls. So I guess that's like a breath of fresh air. I see growth in literally everybody this segment. So I like it. So basically the last 2 scenes of this week are Leah sitting down with her kids and asking them if they like Jalen. Of course, they say yes. They say that he has a cool vibe and stuff, and that just makes Leah smile from ear to ear because they've known him for a while, let's be honest. And the last scene is Jade closing on her house. We don't actually get to see the house. She gets in the car with Chloe. Chloe is uninterested AF. She's just like, yeah, we're going to go close on the house. Are you excited? Are you excited to show daddy? And Chloe doesn't say anything because she's been in a mood for the last couple of days anyway. So Jade closes on this house. Like I said, we don't get to see it, but I'm guessing it's beautiful. Whatever. It only took her, I think she said like a month or so to close on this house, which is extremely fast, but she had the cash. So if you got the cash, you get whatever you want. And she goes on to say that she's so proud of herself because now Chloe has stability and they don't have to worry about having to move out in a year or 2. And that's what's up, Jade. That's a good move for her. And overall, I felt like this episode was pretty good. Teen Mom is definitely not as boring as it was last season or the season before, but I still need a little bit more action. But what y'all think?